What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP Money. We're gonna jump right in without even doing an intro today because we have so much going on, and we don't want to start too late here. So, as usual, this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. I have a lot to go over today. We have our own AMA, a bunch of updates on Honor versus Madness, our new game, some updates on the overall market and some updates on Fusion. But before we get into that, I want to introduce a very special guest, somebody that you're going to hear a lot more of over the next few months, and that is Crypto Eater, or as I know him, longtime friend Simon. So, Simon, are you there, brother?
Yeah, here I am, AJ. Good morning or good evening, depending on where in the world you are.
Awesome, brother. Yeah, man. So I'm really happy to have you. I want to go ahead and give a really quick intro. So Simon is here today to talk to us about a brand new DeFi protocol called Aqualis, and this is something that he's been building. Simon is a really, really big brain individual, as we like to say, and a long-term friend of mine. We have known each other for over probably. Oh man, I don't know, brother. What, 5, 6 years, at least?
Yeah, I was going to say
So,
about 5 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy for sure. So, but nobody will explain this protocol better than you. So why don't we just go ahead and start off by saying, what is Aqualis and what inspired you to create this?
Yeah, perfect. I guess I'll give a very quick introduction to it because I always tend to rant on a little bit too long. But in essence, it is a DeFi protocol aimed at creating liquidity pools that have multiple use cases. For example, you'll be able to do trading, lending, flash loans, all within the same liquidity pool, ultimately bringing up to 80% of the unused trading liquidity to be used for lending as well, which ultimately lowers fees for users and highly boosts yield farming rewards for depositors. And we do all of this through something we call the asset multi-utilization algorithm, and that essentially powers the whole ecosystem to do that.
Amazing, brother. Again, I know that's a little bit of a mouthful and a little bit a lot for an elevator pitch, but the whole idea today is to get familiarized with Aqualis. Obviously, you guys are just not rolling out. There is no ulterior motive here in terms of a raise or anything else. It's just really getting people familiar with the ecosystem for what is to come in the next few weeks and months. So. That being said as well, forgive me, I know that two of your other team members are here, Midnight Crypto and Evan. I'm more than happy to have you guys jump on at any time, so feel free to interrupt me. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick as well?
I guess I'll start. I'm Midnight Crypto. I am the founder of TMSC. So we are incubating Aqualis, where we're technically part of the team. That's how we operate. So we pretty much been in the space for over 13 years myself, and with a group, everyone's pretty much a veteran on my team, and we're here to boost this stunning project to the next level because I think it's actually going to revolutionize how DeFi is looked at.
I love it. Right on. And Evan?
Hello everyone, my name is Evan. I was in software development since 2006, and I've been in uh, blockchain and smart contract development since 2017. And it's been a good thing in DeFi ecosystem. I've been building my own protocol, and I've been joining Aqualis AI because I also believe in their future and what they want to trying to achieve with Aqualis AI.
I love it. Perfect. So yeah, and again, I know Simon. personally, we've been involved in many different projects. Again, most recently, even on Reverse Madness. But today is just about really getting to know what Aqualis is. We'll go ahead and share a link as well to your guys' Telegram. Please make sure you use our link. That helps us track who is coming in. And you will have to do some anti-bot, captchas to enter. But again, today's just a high-level overview. If you have further questions, you can always ask in there as well. LA or Crypto Babe just posted that. But I guess the next question I have for you, Simon, is I know that there's been a big AI narrative, and a narrative is one thing, but to actually integrate that into the project is even more bullish. So, do you want to talk a little bit about how AI will fit in with Aqualis?
Yeah, absolutely. So at this stage, we basically want to integrate the AI components into the asset multi-utilization algorithm or the AMU algorithm. So very, very briefly, how this works is the AMU actually, it's basically an algorithm that compares how much liquidity that we have in our protocol, and it also compares where it's actually set. For example, if it's set in lending or if it's set in trading, and it checks whether or not there's enough in trading, and it checks whether if there's enough in lending. And basically, if there's a discrepancy, the AMU will trigger what we call a rebalance. And these rebalances are done on the algorithm's parameters, which are basically static. Essentially, that means we train a model based on historic data. Once we train that model, we say, okay, this is what we think is going to be the most efficient way to use our liquidity, and it's basically set. Every time that we want to update the parameters, we can do that, but it needs to be done manually. How AI fits into all of this is we can actually use AI to train a model to dynamically change the parameters in our AMU. This essentially allows the model to be dynamic. It can respond to market factors such as price changes, such as sentiment, volatility, basically everything that we want it to respond to. And this essentially allows us to optimize the capital that is within the ecosystem even more. So we can deliver even lower fees and even higher yield farming rewards for our users. So in our first version of Aqualis, we don't have AI integration yet in our proof of product, in our prototypes. However, that will be integrated into our version 2, where we expect to see, like, I guess, a massive like a whole development overhaul in our version 2. So at the moment, our AMU is supporting our SP, in other words, our stable pool. So users will be able to trade stable coins basically without any price impact at a 1-to-1 ratio. And this supports the lending side. But in our version 2, you'll be able to trade any crypto. So, you can even have EMP on there or Grim Gold or, ETH, Bitcoin, whatever. And all of this will be supported via our lending as well. So, yeah, that's essentially how AI fits into the picture.
Awesome, no doubt. Well, and again, this is what got me bullish on the project originally when you were first telling me about it, months, if not years ago. I know it's been something
Yeah.
you've been working on a while now. But the point of what really what we have preached all along and what we're doing as well is really capital efficiency. And I think that is where DeFi is going. And this is yet another step in that with really making the liquidity and the capital as efficient as possible while not only making it a better user experience for the end user, but also, again, way more efficient than what we're used to with traditional, just normal V2 liquidity. That is, you may have $1 million of liquidity, but that $1 million is not being utilized, and honestly, it's not even providing the infrastructure that where orders are being filled. So I think that's what really,
Exactly.
yeah, that's what really got me bullish on this to begin with. So can you just go over that and try to maybe do the again the dumbed down version of how you guys are going to accomplish all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have a very good understanding of DeFi, I know that. But essentially, it works on having that underutilized part of the V2 liquidity used for lending. So, as you mentioned, you can dump $1 million into liquidity, but the price impact, for example, if you're trading stable coins, $1 million of liquidity is like essentially nothing. So, over the years, we've actually had new pools come out, for example, V3 pools. Curve has a stable swap module. We have Balancer. So we have all of these new protocols that still actually takes into account price impact. And the biggest problem is that all of the liquidity that are within these protocols are actually still using just for trading. So, imagine if we have, let's say, hundreds of millions of dollars just balancing a stablecoin pool. This allows us to trade maybe like tens of millions or hundreds of millions of volume per day without any major price impact. However, these hundreds of millions of dollars of stable coins are still essentially just sitting there doing nothing, waiting to be traded against. What Aqualis does is it allows the stable coins to be lent out with, Ethereum or Bitcoin or something like that as collateral, basically the blue chips. And depositors in our liquidity pool will actually be able to earn yield from lending on their stables while it's being used as trading liquidity as well. And through our stable pool, this it actually doesn't impact prices at all. So the reason we need so much liquidity for a stablecoin pool is to minimize price impact. If you want to trade, let's say, $1 million of stables, you want to be getting $1 million of stables back, or as close as possible to that. You don't want to be getting like 990,000 or something like that. And if there's not enough liquidity, you're going to be getting less for each trade, if it's a large trade, which is why thick liquidity is so important. However, with Aqualis, how we've made our stable pool, we actually don't take the liquidity into consideration, like the actual dollar amount is more the liquidity ratio between the coins. This allows larger trades to have much, much less price impact as long as there's enough liquidity in our pool. Even if our liquidity is approaching zero, the price impact is actually negligible. So that's the key difference in our stable pool, and that's what allows us to do this kind of double dipping on rewards. This idea actually first started back in 2021. So this was, I guess, kind of DeFi summer. Everything was going up, and there was a lot of volatility in yield farming rewards. I remember I would be putting some stable coins on lending, and then all of a sudden there'd be a really volatile day where trading would be at like 50% APR, and then I'd move all my stable coins from lending into trading, which had fees incurred because it had to be two-sided. And then all of a sudden the next day, like stablecoin lending had much higher yield, and I was just like, God damn! I wish I could just dip. I just get rewarded from both sides, and then that's kind of how Aqualis really the idea generation first started. Is users shouldn't have to be going across all of these different platforms looking for the best yield, looking for the best opportunity to earn on their stable coins. It should just be one platform. They can just put their money in, close their eyes, and know that they're getting the best rewards. And that's how I guess Aqualis was developed, is from a very user perspective. And yeah, so that's essentially what Aqualis V1 is. And with Aqualis V2, we're going to be using the same type of architecture. But the architecture will also involve AI, which allows us to actually integrate more than just stable coins. So right now, we technically can also trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all that. We have the technology to do that. However, we don't want to have too much of risk, because if we start doing this multi-utilization of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then there's massive volatility that we didn't predict because our algorithms are static, what happens then is we could leave users with bad debt in a worst case scenario. If we're conservative, then we basically can't utilize as much funds. So that's where the AI really kicks in, is for our version 2. And once that kicks in, we can start essentially trading anything. You can actually, for example, right now there's a whole meme coin kind of mania. You can actually deploy your meme coin on Aqualis, for example, and if you get big enough, you can actually lend out your meme coin as well, automatically as part of the liquidity pool. Of course, this has to be very big, like a very big market cap, for that to actually work. But with AI, we can actually enable these really kind of like, I guess it sounds kind of crazy. You add liquidity to a pool. Once the pool gets big enough, it can actually be used for lending as well. Like, that sounds kind of crazy, but with AI, that actually enables us to do this in a way that is not actually as risky for the pool. And it also, like, one of the biggest problems with providing liquidity is impermanent loss, right? And usually that's offset by the rewards. With lending, that can actually offset imperm loss quite substantially over time. Yeah.
I
Hopefully that
love it.
answers it.
Yeah, no doubts. I mean, again, bro, there is a lot to this. So again, I don't want people to be overwhelmed, but I do want to go back to what you said, about how this was an amazing product market fit from what you were doing yourself. And like you said, like, it sucks to have to choose, where to go, where to deploy your capital. One day it may be earning great yield, the next day it may not be, especially if you're having to manage tight ranges for LP providing, and then maybe one day the lending pool is not as much. I mean, what really attracts me with Aqualis is that you kind of get the best of all the potential yield from your assets, and again, that just boils down to being way more capital efficient. As well. So, all right, awesome. That answered a lot. So let's jump back just a little bit more. Obviously, this is new technology, meaning you guys are not going to be a fork of anything else. Is there smart contracts already deployed? I guess give me a bit of a heads up on, the development roadmap and, timelines.
Yeah, perfect. I guess so. The stable pool and the AMU algorithms and all of that, so that's all native. However, lending, we will be using a fork of Aave v3. I guess, yeah, Evan, maybe you can actually take this question. It is a bit more technical, and you're the brains behind this. So, yeah, Evan, did you want to explain quickly?
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm going to explain the technical side behind the Aqualis AI that we already been building since 3 months before, and it's actually something that a bit sophisticated, like Simon already said before, that it's all original smart contracts, set of smart contracts that we've been writing. Aside from the lending part that we are from IFA version 3. And for the Aqualis, it's a way that we're rebalancing the liquidity between the SP, the stable pool, and the lending part. It's something that we create our own algorithm, and which is one day we are going to implement our AI. It's a good thing that users need to understand. We are dipping into new territory that other protocols has not really been here before. So this is an opportunity for other people to see that we are moving fast into something that becoming a new opportunity for many people in DeFi ecosystems. Like Simon already said before, that a lot of people are asking, why wouldn't we get more efficiency on our capital? So it's not going to just sitting there on the liquidity pool, because this is a stable pool and it's not doing anything. But if we can get it to be automatically allocated into the lending part, so we can generate a real yield. Because previously other protocols are depend on something like emission. So it's creating an inflation token to reward user, so they will stay inside the liquidity providing. But we are not depends on that kind of rewards. We are creating a real yield where users will get more efficiency for every capital that they are depositing into the SP. which also being leaked into the lending pool. So all the smart contracts are audited right now, and we already deployed and tested on the testnet, on Polygon testnet right now. And in just a couple of days, I think we will have our own staging site, which we already deployed. We are trying to integrate the smart contracts into this staging site so the community can get test tokens and they can try all the features that we already built right now, which is the trade, the stable pool trade, the staking site for AQL token, and also soon we will have the lending part where users can deposit DSP, and they can also deposit token into blue chip tokens into the lending part, which is very similar because we poke it from version 3 and start to see how the rewards are going to be calculated real time. And this is all will be like a one-to-one replica into what we will have in the mainnet soon.
Amazing. Right on, Evan. No, that gives me a great understanding. And yeah, I mean, you guys have been really hard at work building this. I guess, Simon, give me the exact, how long have you been working on this? And then, like, once you guys are finally ready to deploy, have you obviously, the old adage of when marketing, obviously, we're trying to get the word out here today. But maybe just give us again a little bit more of the post-launch plan as well.
Yeah, perfect. So I guess I'll answer the first bit about how long we've been working on this. So yes, this whole thing started as like a little idea back in 2021, but I didn't really get a team together until 2022. Since then, we have been working, and it's been a very iterative process, working on basically fine-tuning the development, also regulatory pressures has been a pretty big like I guess like at one stage I was even thinking about like potentially just like how do we go about this? Do we need licensing? Do we need going down the kind of like more centralized route? But then we realized that it's essentially impossible. You need hundreds of licenses worldwide, and that's ultimately why it has taken so long. From a tech perspective, Evan has joined us quite recently. So I've known Evan from before before he joined Aqualis as well. He helped me out with some other stuff, which is where I gained experience working with Evan. And Evan works incredibly fast. He's basically been able to I guess, like as I mentioned, like iterate through the whole ecosystem again. He's done basically like what we've done in the past 2 years, in the past 3 months, and he's really, I guess, like upgraded a lot of our smart contracts to today's most current best practices. We're currently being audited by Hashlock, which is Australia's leading blockchain auditing firm. You may have seen them. I don't know if you went to like Token 2049 in Dubai. They had a booth there. Or if you have like Australian audiences, they're pretty much like the big like.
Shout out to all the
Yeah.
Aussies. Yeah, we're very familiar with Hashlock for sure. So yeah, and that
Oh,
was
okay,
another
perfect.
question. So you are getting everything audited as well. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So half of it is already done. We're getting our final audit on our basically the remaining half of the ecosystem, and they'll be publishing the audit report most likely in like a month or so. So it is a very large project. It'll probably take about 2 months in total to audit, and then after they audit, we'll have to have some back and forth, I assume, unless they find literally no bugs. But if I don't know, I always get concerned if auditors find no bugs, because I'm like, there's like always something, right?
For sure.
So that might take a week just going back and forth. So we hopefully we should have it within about a month or so. And to answer your question about marketing, maybe we can bring that over to John. He's our resident marketing specialist here. I'm honestly like marketing just goes over my head. So yeah,
sure.
maybe John.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I wouldn't say I'm a marketing expert, but I would say that we have a very big team, especially developers as well. So I've been in the space, like I said earlier, over a decade, and we know some of the big calls, so over 200 calls. I'll just name some of them: Overdose, Alex Becker, Sasha, CryptoWiz, Eric Cryptoman, and yeah, we have quite close connections. So in terms of marketing, what is important for marketing? Getting the right people to actually look at a project, essentially. And um, even with VCs, I know some of the biggest VCs in Web 2, which are now moving to Web 3. So if any project does come and need that kind of help, eventually, once they launch, once they got foot together, we can help them get a grant or a raise of up to $300 million. So marketing is not a bigger problem on this side. It's just getting the right people, the right community, getting the voices out there, because what is more powerful than your regular investor? Yes, you'll have these people invest in big bucks, but the people that make a project move is your average Joe. So that's the best marketing. So we're using these strategies to bring the right people on board, to educate them first of all, foremost. And I only work with good utility projects, and I'm quite highly successful at that. And when I talked to Simon, he came to me actually for an AMA, and I fell in love with the project that we've been speaking for 2 years now. Thanks, Simon. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's that's
Amazing.
that about marketing.
Yeah,
So there's
no
not
doubt.
much to add really.
Yeah,
And as you
for
can see,
sure.
if anyone's went on the website, it's clean, it's beautiful. We've worked with Simon to get that to the right level, to give that pleasant feel, because that gives it that marketing look to it. I couldn't tell anyone to invest or buy anything. What I'd say is, watch out, buy things that make sense, buy things that solve a problem.
Yeah, no doubt, Midnight. No, again, man, product market fit is the number one end all be all. And yeah, I mean, I love your guys' approach. I think you're, you know, doing it the right way. You're checking all the boxes. And again, that's why I wanted to bring you on to just kind of get more eyeballs on the protocol and get ready for what's to come next. So, I mean, again, today was a very high level overview. Obviously, you have extensive documents as well, right? So I'm at white paper. Maybe just go a little bit more into, if people do want to learn more, how do they get involved, and what is up next in terms of an actual TGE or launch date? Are you guys doing a private sale? What are the plans in that department? Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, the only way to really get involved is, of course, to follow all of our socials. So LA has put in a referral link for the actual Telegram. So right now we actually are running an airdrop, and this is essentially the first way, like the first major way to earn Aqualis tokens is through this airdrop. We don't have a private sale. We did do like a very, very small sale, like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. But that was terribly timed. It was literally, I think, like a few days after the FTX crash. And then the second attempt we had at doing a raise, that was scheduled like literally, I think like around the time where the lunar death spiral was happening. So both times that we tried to raise, we just couldn't
For
due to
sure.
market conditions. So we were just like, okay, screw it. Let's just make this thing, and then let's see how far we can get with what we have. And yeah, we've gotten to today with the help of an incredibly supportive team, and that's why we will be launching, at TGE with essentially no sell pressure. There's no pre-sale. So the only way for, I guess, users to buy in is to buy during the pre-sale. Sorry, to buy during the TGE. At this stage, we are thinking most likely Q3, maybe early Q4. We don't have any exact dates. We're actually, like, the funny thing is we're actually ready to launch at any time, basically. The only thing we need is, I guess, a bigger organic, community. We don't want to be spending money and just like throwing money at KOLs or influencers or marketing agencies before we have a real solid like initial community ourselves, because that's how we can really amplify the investments there.
Sure.
And of course, we're also just waiting for better market conditions, because we don't want to be launching when everything is uncertain. We'd much rather launch when I guess everything is going up or more bullish, like a more bullish sentiment, or even like another like strategy that we found works really well is launching at the lowest point. You just kind of do a stealth launch at the lowest point, and when stuff starts going up, like the market goes up, you have a lot of momentum, and because you've been around for so long, you get that narrative. But the worst time to launch, in my opinion, is when everything is uncertain. Like it might go down, it might go up, and it's really just like, I guess, like gambling at that point. And because we have such, like, in my opinion, such an amazing project that actually has real utility to it, not just some like crappy meme coin. We want to actually nail everything. So yeah, and I guess like right now, how to get involved is just make sure you follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram. We're really trying to build up our Telegram because all our community is on Discord, and we realize now 2 years later that actually maybe Splinterlands, if I'm sure some of your audience know Splinterlands, maybe like they're on Discord. EMP is actually, I guess, on Discord as well, but it seems like the majority of crypto is actually on Telegram.
Totally.
And we're finding it quite like it's actually hard to move our community onto Telegram because they're all so Discord native users, and we've never had a Telegram before. So every time someone's like, "Oh, do you have a TG?" and we're like, "Oh, we don't," and then they just don't join us. Like they just don't join because they don't use Discord. And everyone that did join only uses Discord. So anyway. Join our Telegram, use the link provided in the YouTube, and yeah, that's basically how you can get involved, and just make sure you keep up to date with when our launch is.
Amazing, Simon. Yeah, man. Well, again, bro, I wanted to just bring you guys on and really give a quick little intro. Obviously, we'll be having you on more and more. As I alluded to earlier, we will be working together hand in hand on many, many different things. And, from day one, Simon is one of the rare people in crypto that gets it. And I love, not only are you trying to create more capital efficiency, but you're doing so without an inflationary mechanism like most AMMs have. I mean, again, everything that you said today is super bullish in my eyes in terms of long-term sustainability. And the icing on the cake is, what sounds like pretty much a fair launch when the time is right. So, no ulterior motives, just trying to get amazing products out there in the crypto space. So, yeah, man, I think that was a great overview. Is there anything else you wanted to go over, or is there any questions that we saw? LA, I don't know if you saw any questions as well, but we can take one or two for sure.
Yeah, I guess I just quickly wanted to say thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it. And as AJ mentioned, we do go way back, and I really do respect everything AJ is doing as well in this space. He's been able to build an absolute massive community, essentially like out of nothing, right? I remember back when you were first starting EMP, I was thinking like, what's this guy doing starting a project? That's crazy. And then 5 years later, here I am trying to start my own project as well. But yeah, mad respect. Yeah, it's been like watching you from literally starting EMP to what essentially the empire you have today with all of the different projects and Grimgold and on it, like I guess Honor versus Madness. I keep calling it Grimgold because that's the token, but Honor versus Madness and everything. It's truly inspiring to witness like kind of firsthand. Yeah.
Thank you. Right on, Simon. That means a lot, bro. Yeah, and again, we have definitely built things from the ground up. That grassroots effort always being as authentic as we can be. And again, I think you guys bring that same mentality to what you're doing as well. Just trying to create an amazing product market fit that makes all DeFi users have an easier time and ultimately make more money through utilizing your resources. So All right, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it then, man. I don't see any other questions. Ellie, was there any I missed? I know you posted the link as well, correct? Yeah.
Yep, I don't see any questions popping up. No.
All right, awesome. Well, again, Simon, thank you. Midnight, Evan, the whole team, appreciate you guys. And yeah, please join their socials. And then, yeah, we'd love to have you back, Simon, when you do decide when to launch. I'd love to have you back on to really help, you know, get more excitement around it for sure.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you very much. Yeah. Evan and John, like, feel free. You guys can just head off. I'll probably stick around, just to hear your exciting updates.
All right, awesome, brother. And I did have one more real quick last minute question come in. Does Aqualis currently have any revenue streams other than the Splinterlands marketplace? So maybe just talk about how, you know, you guys are going to make money as a protocol as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually. So the Splinterlands NFT marketplace, that's something that we've actually, I guess, it's not even on our white paper anymore, because I guess in the grand scheme of things, we kind of want it to be a funnel to get community rather than an actual revenue stream.
For sure.
I'm not sure if you've noticed, but recently we've actually made it entirely not for profit. Any profits that we generate, so we keep about 250,000 DECs, which is roughly like 150 USD, and that's just to keep our servers running. The cashback system actually costs a lot to run. The website and everything is pretty much like negligible, but yeah, it's mainly just a cashback system. And anything above that, we actually just, burn, or we might actually, starting from this month, we might actually give back to other like Splinterlands related initiatives. But ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, any revenue we can generate from the Splinterlands NFT marketplace is negligible. How we do plan to generate revenue is the same as, how Uniswap or how Aave, Venus, all of these kind of like, DEX and lending protocols generate. And that's from the, like, basically taking a portion of the fees. So, for example, PancakeSwap V3, I think they take about 23% of the fees. And that's essentially, if, for example, if you're using the V3 1% pair, that means you're actually getting 0.77% of volume, and they're getting 0.23% of the volume. What Aqualis does is we take a split from the fees of trading and also of lending. So at this stage, all of this is subject to change, by the way. At this stage, we plan to take approximately 17% of the actual of the fees as revenue. So 10% of that will actually go to stakers. 4% of that will actually go to buyback and burning the AQL token. So something that I didn't really talk about much is our actual tokenomics. So we actually have a lot of different burn mechanisms that's built into the ecosystem. And we basically don't have any inflation. So that's one of the, I guess, like the biggest selling points, I guess, in terms of tokenomics. The only inflation that we will have throughout time, I guess, is our airdrops, but the airdrops are based on trading. So you basically have to actually provide protocol revenue to earn airdrops. It's not as simple as just providing liquidity, because providing liquidity, right, you don't actually like generate any revenue per se. You give us a higher opportunity, I guess, to generate revenue, but the actual act of providing liquidity technically does nothing. So we want to generate users and actual traders, not liquidity providers, because that's our whole kind of shtick, is that we don't need as much liquidity providers to actually enable as much trading. So yeah, anyway, that's a whole kind of tangent there.
For sure.
Yeah. So sorry, I was saying 4% is used to burn, and then 3% is actually given to the treasury for essentially development needs over time. All of these are in our docs, by the way. And then same for lending, a very, very similar lending structure. People pay interest, and then you get so for Aave V3, I know that each different pool actually has a different fee, but it's usually around 20% of the interest charged. I think some of the more niche assets has a higher interest, but I can't remember. And yes, we also want to be going in with 17%. So the idea is that we're undercutting all of the existing ecosystems. We're undercutting Uniswap, we're undercutting Aave, Venus, and the idea is in a perfect ecosystem, we will always have better interest rates in terms of both yield farming and also lending. So if we have the same utilization, a user will end up paying less to borrow from us, and a depositor will end up earning more from us when they deposit. And yeah, that's essentially our main sources of protocol revenue over time. And that's split, of course, between the treasury and also stakers. Yeah, hope that answers it.
Awesome. Great. AJ,
Alright.
if you're there, I think you're muted.
I think AJ, yeah, just
You
got
gotta
rugged.
unmute yourself.
I mean,
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to say to wrap up?
yeah. I see someone just said beer break. I guess, yeah. I mean, if AJ's not here at the moment, I don't mind. You know, we can talk about honor versus madness as well. You know, because I know we've taken up like a lot of
Do
the
you
AMA
want
time. Yeah.
to, here's a great idea. Do you want to kind of give a background on what you're doing to help on the Honor versus Madness team? That's kind of a good segue.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, as LA mentioned, I'll actually be working on the Honor versus Madness project as well as a tokenomics and in-game economy, I guess, advisor or designer or whatever you want to call it. I guess the background there is I've been working with the Splinterlands team as kind of like a advisor, like very like informally for better half of a decade now, actually, since 2018. And I guess, yeah, gaming has always been a big passion of mine. I remember growing up playing World of Warcraft. I mean, not even playing, just watching my brother play World of Warcraft. And then when I finally turned 8 years old, he was like, "All right, here's a World of Warcraft account." So I don't know if you guys remember like playing on like I think it was like Raid Call or Ventrilo. I'd be that squeaky 8-year-old kid on voice comms doing raids. So that was a, I guess, like a, what do you call like those memories, like those like really formative memories, is like of these like people like yelling at me, like I don't know, gamers back then were real sexist. They just thought I was a girl, and I was just like this 8-year-old little kid playing World of Warcraft. But anyway, yeah, so even back then what I've always been really involved in were, I guess, like auction houses, and I've always been really like, I don't know, like not inspired, but like I guess like addicted to using these kind of platforms for trying to earn, right? In World of Warcraft, my brother would go on raids, do PvP, whatever. I just run around the map, like mining ore and skinning stuff and then selling it on the auction house and trying to find these kind of, I guess like loopholes. It's like, oh, you know, I can buy this, craft this, and then sell it for more, or inefficiencies, whatever. And that's kind of what's always been like what I've always really liked in gaming. And then of course when I found Splinterlands, it was a very similar story. I just did a lot of trading, and that's when I realized actually that I have a real, I guess, like passion for designing these ecosystems as well, because it's like, in my opinion, a well-designed ecosystem shouldn't have any like loopholes or arbitrage opportunities where you can, it's like clearly like there should never be one way to do something that's best. You want to give your players an opportunity to do things maybe in many different ways, right? Depending on what they prefer. It's like, you know, do they want to, if they want to spend money, here are a few different options. If they don't want to spend money, here are a few different options on how to get to where you want, but like, you know, in different ways. There should never be a, this option is the most efficient, therefore anything else that you don't like, anything else is just, I guess, inefficient to do. And sorry, that's a bit of a tangent, but yeah, with Honor versus Madness, what I guess like what I'm trying to create in terms of the in-game economics is something that will really appeal to gamers first, not as much like, like we're trying to make sure that it's not something that's like an investment product, right? Because we've seen time and time again with the likes of Axie Infinity, anything that's like play to earn as like their core fundamental is not sustainable, because it's not like a positive sum ecosystem, right? It's not even like it's not even like what do you call, like even sum? No, that's not the right word. But yeah, it's essentially a negative sum ecosystem. You have to pay for servers, you have to pay for developers, whatever. And if you market yourself as play to earn, you can't actually develop a sustainable ecosystem, which is why with Honor versus Madness, we've really decided that it's gamers first. We need to make a fun, engaging, entertaining game, and then build an immersive world with NFTs on top of an already exciting game. And that's where we see the real value, because NFTs, like in my opinion, they're not so much an earning product, they're more a right of ownership, right? Like, if I play World of Warcraft, I technically, according to Blizzard's terms and conditions, I technically don't own any of those items. Like, Hearthstone, whatever. Like, that's, I think, a big problem. Like, it's a problem that, like, no one's really like complaining about, but it does have tangible effects. And as a gamer, I'd like the opportunity, like, to potentially like actually be able to sell whatever I have in the future. And yeah, that in itself creates like a new host of problems potentially. I see any sort of in-game asset that can be sold as essentially debt, because a secondary, like a new player, right, will come in and say, hey, I can buy stuff from the company, or I can buy stuff from another player. So that alternative gives the company debt. And honestly, that's okay, because like, we don't want to end up in a position where all of the new revenue comes to the company. We are essentially I don't know, like price gouging or something. We want to make sure that it's like a more collaborative environment where users, players, and the company, everyone is rewarded, right? And that's kind of, I guess, I've actually spoken about a lot of different concepts here, but these are kind of what, in my opinion, is we're trying to build with Honor versus Madness. If you just kind of like summarize everything I said into a better, more eloquent version, yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense? That's what I'm working on in terms of Honor versus Madness.
I love it. Yeah, so I'm back. Sorry, Simon.
You're
Holy cow.
back.
Man, never a dull moment. Sorry, guys. As a lot of you know, I'm on a family vacation at Disney, so the router went
Ah,
out, so I had to restart everything. But we're good. We didn't lose any stream time, and yeah, that was amazing, Simon. Thank you for going back, and really covering all of this. I mean, like Simon said, he is a core part of our team now, and we will have more AMAs with him specifically as we continue to build out the game. But I love what you touched on, because this is something that we've been preaching, to all of our community, and why Honor vs Madness and Grim Gold Token will be so different is because we are not going to be play to earn, and essentially extract value from the ecosystem. And in full disclosure, how Simon and I first met was through Splinterlands, and I actually bought all of my original cards from Simon, and over the last 5 years. That has turned into a $1 million portfolio, even with the, tokens and card value going down. So Simon and I know the ins and outs of crypto gaming with almost a decade of experience. And I'm just so bullish because literally everything, and I don't want to speak for you, Simon, but literally everything that we wanted to see built in terms of healthy economics, we're building that to begin with Universe Madness, right?
yeah, absolutely. I think it's like, for me, it's what I've always wanted. It's like I don't know. I'm also coming to this from a very user perspective. It's kind of like what I think works in a token, what I wanted to see, Splinterlands do, for example, but maybe they didn't do. And it's what I personally believe works best in these kind of play to not play to earn like economics. Like that's the whole point. It's like not play to earn, because trust me, I've spent like many hours I don't know, I don't know how many hours, but I guess years, right, thinking about how play to earn could work, given that I have such a vested interest in the success of Splinterlands.
Sure.
And ultimately, I believe that it comes down to the fact that a play to earn in isolation, I think doesn't work, but you need to have outside components to make it work, and it's really hard to achieve that threshold. I think Splinterlands is the only game that I can think of right now that can actually achieve it someday. Right now, obviously, I don't know, if your community is still involved in it much, but obviously right now token prices are going down, card prices are going down, and that's a natural effect, right? It's people are fighting over it, but it's if you think about it, this is very, very natural, because you're earning from your cards. By definition, the price has to go down over time, and if it doesn't go down too much, you still break even. But then if it goes down, obviously if it goes down more, then you're at a loss or something, and if it goes down not as much, you're at a profit. And that's the core problem, is that people think about it in terms of profit and loss and not fun. We want to make sure that anyone playing Honor versus Madness, you're playing for fun and you're not thinking about an expectation of return. If you're really good at the game, that's what we want to promote. We want to promote the esports component and the more competitive gameplay. If you're really good, right, and you've spent maybe a year grinding, you've actually haven't spent a single cent, you've just unlocked all the cards yourself, and you're the best player in the world, you're going to be able to earn massive amounts from skill. And that's what we think that real gaming is all about. It's not about it's not that pay to win kind of component that it exists in mobile games and whatnot, and yeah, they can make a lot of money, but as a person who's paid a lot in these type of games, I always feel like crap afterwards, because I'm what am I doing, right? And it's they play, they use psychology to play on you to basically spend money, whereas we just want to make sure that users have fun. That's essentially the crux of it. And also, I just read the chat. Thanks everyone for the warm welcomes. Yeah, I haven't really been, I guess, a vocal part of the EMP community, but yeah, for better, I think for few years now, I've just been lurking in the background. So good to, I guess, finally come out and say hi to everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. Yep, Simon has been a day one emperor, again, both in the community and being involved too. So, but yeah, man, again, everything you said is so refreshing, and we really feel like we are going to deliver on what we've seen, the pitfalls of literally every other Web3 gaming project in existence. And we've been there, we've played these games, we've been part of the economies, we know what works and what doesn't work, and that's why it's so bullish to have the team that we have together. And with my DeFi experience, with Simon's in-game and economy experience, and then Julius building an incredibly powerful, fun-to-play game, and then LA helping us get the word out. We have all the puzzle pieces in place for some massive success. So awesome, man. Well, again, that was amazing. Sorry I disappeared in the middle for a minute, but you're more than welcome to hang out. LA, was there anything else for Simon? Or I know we have some notes of our own that we wanted to get through, but did Simon bring up anything in terms of Universe Madness that you would like him to go into a little more, or?
I think Darusik has one more question. Is Honorverse Madness the same ethos you mean to use for Aqualis Gaming?
Yes, that's a very interesting question. So Aqualis, okay, so I guess a bit of background on that, right? Aqualis is meant to be a umbrella of products. It's not just, I don't want to just have, DeFi, that's our bread and butter. That's what I'm, I guess a more recent passion. But a childhood passion has always been gaming. That's what, like, even DeFi I think is just basically gaming to some extent, right? It's
For sure.
like all tokenomics, yeah, everything is gamified nowadays, and I think everything, like in my opinion, if I think about anything in terms of a game, it just really simplifies it for me. And yes, so essentially, like, to answer your question, long story short, yes, I actually have two games already in mind. Like, I've written kind of like white papers for these games. One of them is like a dungeon crawler, and the other one, I guess, is also kind of like a dungeon crawler. I just think that I enjoy dungeon crawlers. It's like one of them is more active, the other one is more like an idle kind of game. But I have these kind of ideas around what kind of games I personally want to make in the future. And the idea is that I don't want to just branch out and make a new project and kind of like sell another token or whatever. I want to make sure that anything I make in the future is all part of the Aqualis umbrella. Very, very similar to how AJ is making everything like part of the EMP ecosystem. And I think that's like the sign of a real like committed person. Because, I'll be honest, if AJ kind of like goes out, sells like, like whatever, like sells like a new token and just have nothing to do with EMP, he can use his name for EMP and then still probably raise just as much, right? But the fact that he's bringing the actual benefits, back to the EMP community, I think really speaks to his character. And I think that's what I want to build as well. I want to make sure that I guess I respect and honor my initial community by giving them more value over time.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I hope that
Yeah,
answers it.
100%, Simon. Yeah, man. And again, that is such a rarity in the crypto space. I mean, everybody's out to make as much as they can. Everybody's in it for themselves, and we have just found these amazing founders and community members, including yourself, that have this, really genuine mindset. And honestly, over the long run, that does allow us to all earn even more, that we would have individually. So I think that is super powerful, even from a selfish perspective. But yeah, man, we're here to always honor what we set out to do, and we're gonna keep building in that direction, no matter what it takes. So awesome, man. All right, yeah, I think that answered that. And all right, so again, if you don't mind hanging out, Simon, if you have to go, that's fine. But we're gonna go through some updates within EMP and Fusion, and maybe at the end, if we had some more economic questions, we can bring you back on. But does that sound good? Yeah.
That's good.
All
Yeah,
right.
sounds good. I'll be around.
All right, brother. Perfect. So, all right, LA, are you ready to jump in? I know,
I am.
yeah, we have a lot to go over still, but just wanted to reiterate some things. Obviously, the market has been down this week. I think we're having a bit of a short squeeze, um, sell-off. I mean, obviously that there is going to continue to be market manipulation. It's just us trying to move through this until we get to the real bull run in the next few months. So we won't spend too much time on that. But I did want to go back over EMP Fusion. So LA, I know we went over a lot of this last week, but do you want to give some key bullet points and then I can elaborate?
Yeah, and for a longer explanation of this, definitely listen to Monday's AMA. But I did want to reiterate this, just kind of based on some comments we've received this week. Um, we understand that whenever we're kind of on a big launch sequence, or phase, for something other than EMP, for one of our sister projects, that we always get little comments that our focus is diverted or something along those lines from EMP. And we want to make sure to assure you that the beauty of having such a large team is that we can divide and conquer. AJ and I are, the forward facing ones that you're used to seeing on a regular basis, but we have a lot of really strong players on our team. And the great thing is that they don't need to be micromanaged. They can really get shit done without hand holding. And so remember that, while you see us talking about the game this week, 10% of the revenue from the game is going to go directly into Fusion. So whether or not you're interested in contributing to the game token or playing the game once it launches, it is worth your while to read the Medium articles, to take a look at the white paper, just to understand everything, because it will directly affect your bags. But while you see AJ and I promoting the game, Jake is literally dotting his I's and crossing his T's, finishing up this new battery. And we believe that it's going to have a really great effect on the ecosystem, on Peg. And Jake has been working through the development list, and we have everything organized in a development schedule: high priority, medium priority, low priority. And we work together as a team to slot things into those priorities in the order that we felt would be the healthiest for the ecosystem, in getting us, to that vision that we all have, of being back at Peg and having healthy e-share prices and flowing in as much rewards from both the internal and external revenue streams as possible. And we still very much so are very confident, just every bit as confident as we always have been, that that vision is going to come to life. And we have to do everything in our power to stay on track and to stay focused on that. And so Jake has been plugging through those high priority items while you've seen us on the front end speaking about the game. We know, obviously, Peg hasn't been exactly where we all want it to be, but that doesn't mean that we're not working hard in the background to change that. So, AJ, do you want to kind of expand on that?
Yeah, 100% LA. So again, this is just a bit of a recap of what we talked about on the last AMA. But ultimately, again, we cannot, as a team and as developers, as much as we would love to, we cannot just simply make a price on a token. What we can do is put all of the amazing infrastructure in place, all of the real revenue streams to feed that token, contracts that are not have never been exploited, that are safe. We put everything that we can and that we do have control over into play, and nothing has changed. So again, I know it might be frustrating to see, token prices fluctuate, peg go up and down, eShare go up and down, but you have to understand that all of this is still part of the plan, and over the long run, the math continues to be unfuttable. And you can look on chain and see that every day more and more EMP is sacrificed into Fusion. And the really cool part about this mechanism, even though it sucks to see Peg and EMP go down, remember that when that happens, you are getting a Peg multiplier on your contributions into Fusion. So even though, again, it may not be fun to watch, you can take advantage of building your position within Fusion because of that mechanism. And that mechanism is built on purpose because there gets a point that, when people sell off and pay goes down, it's an absolute no-brainer to add to your position, because now you're taking advantage of that arbitrage, and you're getting, right now almost a 6x on your sacrifice points. So just remember that, and remember to, make opportunities out of what may be, a red candle overall. So does that make sense, LA?
Yeah. And there's one more thing I want to add, in that getting back to Peg is not solely on our shoulders, even though we're the ones that are building and developing in the background. This is a community owned project, and there are things that you can be doing right now to help too. And so if there's time to write something in the chats expressing, your disappointment or your concern, there's also time to be sharing the word and spreading the word about EMP on socials. And consequently, um, or I don't know if that's the right word, but anyways, it seems to be the people who stay the most positive who are also the ones who are helping the most, and then it's the people that seem to want it to be on only our shoulders the most who don't help out on socials. And so if there's time to write in the chats, there's also time to help your own bags as well and be a part of the change. That's what I'm getting at. Don't think that it's, just on us. It's a community owned project. And so, yes, we're going to do everything in our power, and we are, but it's also up to each and every one of us as investors in the project to do everything we can. And that means, taking those couple minutes a day to like a post, retweet, share, comment. It doesn't take much, and it actually makes a world of difference.
Yeah, 100%. And again, we have so much in the pipeline still. I mean, the treasury is still very healthy. That alone could double or triple by the time we hit the actual bull run. Everything we're yielding from that, we're yielding from all of the 8 revenue streams. Omniverse Madness will be another revenue stream. Obviously, it may take a while to kick in, but the whole idea is that over time, you know, 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, this ecosystem is not going anywhere, and it only gets more powerful in terms of yield as we grow. And that is the whole point. It's not about pivoting. It's not about diverting our attention. It's about building a real world DeFi infrastructure and conglomerate that will dominate over the coming years. Again, I saw another comment that from yesterday or from the last AMA about pivoting or building. Obviously, people always call us serial launchers. That one day one of these is gonna stick. It's not about that. It's about building real world product market fit. I mean, a great example is a car company. That's like saying, why doesn't a car company build one model of car? It's because they want to provide cars for all sorts of people and all sorts of needs and all sorts of product market fit. A luxury car, a sedan, a pickup truck. All those have different utilities and different product market fit. That's what we're doing here. We are building out many, many parts of our ecosystem to fill all different verticals that will then drive revenue back home to the mothership. So if
And
you don't see that and what we're doing, then I don't know what else we could do. But every day we're going to continue to push on everything that we build. So does that again,
yeah,
LA? Does that analogy make sense?
yes. And a reminder that in the height of a bull season, it's easy to build any project, even the shittiest one, and get it to stick like
For
throwing
sure.
spaghetti at a wall. But we've built all of these projects during the bear season and kept every single one of them running. So, can you only imagine the potential once we are in the height of the bull to take everything that we have started and the momentum that we're building and just have it take off? I mean, we will never stop. I was on a call today with the marketing company that we've been speaking with, and I was telling her that one part of the proposal we would have to take off because we just don't have time to take on that kind of time commitment at this time for a specific project. And not project as in protocol, but project as in a marketing project. And she said, "Oh yeah, yeah, we'll re-add it when things slow down for you." And I
That's
laughed
never.
and I laughed and I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure. Um, don't know when that will happen because when things start to slow down, we get itchy, and we have a new idea because we love to build, we love to see our community grow, we love to offer them, you know, new choices. We absolutely love what we do, and we're gonna keep doing it. So
Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah. All right. I think we covered a lot about Fusion. again, everything is still working as intended. Obviously, nobody likes to see PEG and eShare and the price of EMP go down, but over time, we have all the mechanisms in place for the opposite to happen. We just have to get through it. So, all right, awesome. So moving on then, I think let's go ahead and dive into again more about Honor versus Madness. Obviously, this is our priority at the moment. The actual private sale is only what 8 days away. LA, good lord, it's going to be here before we know it, and
Yeah,
the
crazy.
momentum. Yeah, the momentum has been unbelievable. So, do you want to go
Insane.
really quick into our announcement today, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the investor mindset as well?
Yes. So we focused a lot so far on the potential of the token and where it could go. And where it could go is insane. I know on a lot of the previous AMAs, we have shown some of the comparable games and what their tokens have done at all-time highs and that kind of thing. And today I wanted to just mention that contributing in the Grimgold private sale, it's not just about the exclusive opportunity to get in early at 1 cent per Grimgold token with no tax, even though that is incredible. And we've gone through all of those benefits because, the token could fly based on historical evidence of these comparable games. But you're also opening the door to these extremely rare bonuses that could absolutely skyrocket over time in value. So the first 500 contributors are getting early access. And this means, this is something truly special because this gives you an opportunity to actually shape the future of the game with your feedback. It puts you at the forefront of the game's evolution. Your feedback is going to be implemented into the game. I mean, that is just priceless, if you ask me, especially if you're enthusiastic about gaming. To know that your early feedback actually makes a difference in the development of the game. I mean,
For
it's
sure.
amazing.
Yeah,
An
no
alpha
doubt.
key, an alpha key is your ticket to getting early playtime in the alpha play testing phase. And so only 500 of you will get access to that. And if you're contributing over 5,000, you will receive a mystery box. And AJ and I were on the phone earlier, and I was asking him for some numbers from Splinterlands, and the two of us were just like, oh my God, this is insane. Because I want to break this down for you. It's absolutely insane. There's 125 mystery boxes, right? And there's three types of gold foil legendary cards within those mystery boxes. And if you are contributing $5,000, you'll get a mystery box and you'll randomly receive one of those three cards, right? Well, on average, that means there's about 41 of each of those cards. I'm saying on average because it's a little wonky with the math because that middle section is two cards, so I don't know how to classify it. So I'll leave that up to someone who's better at math than I am. But let's just say for the sake of it, there's 41 of each card. Splinterlands, some of their card prints are 50,000 cards. Now, we're not going to have as large of print runs as Splinterlands, but that being said, can you imagine how rare these legendary cards from our private sale are when there's only 41 of each card? And they can only be purchased on the secondary market after this private sale because they will never be minted again.
It's so
So
bullish.
we focused a lot on the value of the tokens and where they could go at their all-time highs. But take a look at the screen at where some of these legendary NFT cards have gone in other games at their all-time highs and what they've been sold for. And AJ has a couple of these cards right now that he rents.
Totally.
These same cards in Splinterlands. So Yeah, do you want to go into that, AJ?
Yeah, 100%. Well, and again, I don't know. Hopefully, Simon is still here if he wants to chime in as well. But I mean, again, I think the value. This is a pure bonus on top of your token, value. So the whole idea is yes, that not only is this actual NFTs with real value. We're not talking just a JPEG. All the NFTs that we've ever promoted or ever been a part of, we have to make sure that they have real value. And within the game, these have incredibly high value, not only because of the collectability of being so rare, like LA just said, imagine one of 41 to ever exist, but also because again, people will want to have the flex or the prestige of owning one of these cards as well. So there's multiple things that add to the overall value, and I think that people will be really blown away at how valuable these cards are. Just from getting in at the certain levels. So, and obviously we understand $5,000 might be a lot, but this is very realistic in terms of what we could see in the secondary market. And from what again Simon said earlier, we are really taking into account the secondary market value because a lot of these other games will print massive print runs of the cards, and that's great for revenue for the game, but overall it kills the secondary market value, and that means that we as players get screwed on that, and so we want to do everything we can to avoid that. So yeah, Simon, I don't know if you're still here, brother. Was there anything, or if you're even listening, but was there anything you want to maybe add on that in terms of the opportunity of earning just from card value alone, not even the token?
Yeah, I'm still here, brother. Yeah, absolutely. So I think everything AJ said is correct there. It's something that I guess people often forget. It looks like it's just like icing on top, but actually, it's potentially like the cake, right?
For
Given
sure.
how limited it is, yeah, with a lot of like the Splinterlands examples you've given, yes, they're like the super rare, unique cards, but what we're missing here is that the actual like I guess the Honor versus Madness cards has much more actual cosmetic appeal. Given Splinterlands is just like a 2D card, it's not even animated.
For
It's
sure.
something that's kind of unprecedented, I guess. Like the actual appeal, like the cosmetic appeal that Honor versus Madness has against like pretty much any of these other projects, because I haven't seen anything else with something along these lines. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Amazing, no doubt, brother. Well, and again, I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but Simon, you have made, I would venture to say you have made more flipping cards on the secondary market than with anything else in the entire ecosystem. Is that a fair thing to say?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that was my whole like business model, I guess. It's just flipping cards on the secondary markets. I'd buy a whole bunch of stuff in bulk. If some because it's like NFTs are hard to sell, right? You need to list it for ages before they actually get sold. So yeah, like people would just sell them to me in bulk, and then I would essentially flip those on the secondary markets.
Yeah, 100%. So my point is that the secondary market is the opportunity is ripe, and that is absolutely something that we are going to learn from, and make it even more powerful than what's currently out there. So, all right, awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect. All right, yeah, LA, any other points to that section?
The only last thing I will say is I think a lot of people are starting to clue into this because in the last 3 days, I've had quite a few people DMing me wanting to up their contributions to five or $10,000, knowing that they're going to be able to get cards. So if that is you and you're wanting to up your contribution to get these bonuses, I would say DM me sooner rather than later so that we can get a good idea of how many people are going to be going after these cards or these bonuses so that you know, we can make everyone aware of how much competition there'll be for them, and you know, how early you may want to show up for the private sale and that kind of thing.
Perfect. Yep, 100%. So, all right, and then again, we
You're
covered.
muted, AJ.
Oh, thanks, LA. Oh man, I'm on a roll today. All right, if you're on YouTube, you were able to hear me, but not on Telegram. So sorry about that. But yeah, 100%. I mean, what we're gonna go into next, we already touched on a little bit. And we really dove into it on the last AMA. About the game specifics, and also if you haven't watched some of our AMAs, please go, not only our own AMAs, but also those that we've done with third parties. One in particular, the Brown Gent. Ella, I think that might have been one of the most bullish AMAs we ever put out. So that does,
Yeah,
yeah, right? I mean, do you want to talk about that
yeah.
just really quick?
Yeah, it was incredibly bullish. And I did actually chop up that entire AMA, took out all of the best questions, and we now have a playlist on this YouTube channel called the Honorverse Madness Informational playlist. And I am going to be adding other AMAs as well. That one just took a couple days, so I didn't have time to add any others yet, but we are going to be adding other AMAs to that as well. So it's great for anyone who doesn't have time to watch a full AMA. You can dive into certain questions at a time and go from there. But yeah, that one was really great. In that AMA, it was very focused on the game specifics, and on Monday's AMA, we really dove into a lot of those topics. So today, I wanted to switch things up and have AJ really dive into things from an investor's mindset.
For sure.
So, AJ, say I'm just an investor. I don't know about gaming or really care about gaming at all. Why should I contribute to the private sale, and why should I care? And what's my strategy with all of this?
Yeah, 100%. So I love this approach as well. Obviously, there's room for both mindsets, and that is why this is going to be so powerful. And again, not only in terms of the in-game and out-of-game economics, but in terms of the token itself as well. And as you know, Grim Gold is the name of the token that represents uh, the value of this game on chain. And if you're purely in it for investing, there is still incredibly lucrative opportunities, even if you never want to play the game. And so it is still, obviously, we've spent an hour talking about how, Universe Madness will not be play to earn, but that absolutely doesn't mean that there is not massive earning potential within the game, whether you want to play it or just be quote unquote investor. So, the number one thing is obviously, uh, price appreciation of the token. We've talked about this many times now, but on average, the GameFi narrative is the most price appreciating asset outside of layer ones and layer twos that there is. So on average, again, we see almost a 400x on these sort of tokens, and that doesn't even include the NFTs that you may be getting as the icing on the cake, as Simon said. So let me go ahead and pull up the slide one more time. But yeah, here you go. So yeah, obviously there's a growth potential, but um, the top four coins have done multiple X's, and we're mimicking not only the rollout but also the timing and if not more bullish improvements in terms of tokenomics that we feel we will absolutely be able to deliver on these sort of estimates for sure. So does that help, Ella? What else do you want to add to that? Go ahead.
Yeah. I was thinking I was the customer and you were the
Oh, all
salesman there.
right. Well, isn't that a good sales technique, will I ask you, why do you want to be
I didn't
involved?
prepare anything to say. I was
Oh,
listening.
I love it. How would you sell this pen, LA? Yeah.
Sell
Oh,
me a glass of water, AJ.
yeah. I
That's
love
what
it.
that's what they always say in job interviews for sales jobs.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be the best, coldest, most
Yeah, I'm
refreshing
just
glass of
kidding.
water you've ever had.
I'm totally
Uh,
just kidding because it's not a sales pitch because
no,
it's
I know.
honestly a
We're joking.
no-brainer.
Obviously, we're all joking here. Yeah, and that's the cool part. It's not a sales pitch. I mean, obviously, these are estimates, and it's up to you to press the buttons. But I know for me, personally, I'm just excited to be involved. And that's coming from it being our own project. But to be able to see this game be brought to life over the next 8 months is going to be just a lot of fun, before the game is even playable, which is incredible.
To touch on strategy, which was my last question, um, if I was an investor who was coming in on with under $5,000, I would obviously put in my initial contribution. I would sit on the token for as long as possible and have a long-term mindset and not have quick fingers as soon as it hit a 5x, because I obviously believe that this is going to have a lot more potential than that.
For
I
sure.
would take advantage of staking opportunities, because the staking is going to allow us not only to earn from the revenue of the protocol, but there's also going to be staking opportunities which potentially allow us to earn NFTs and exciting stuff like that as well. So if I was coming in with under 5,000 and I didn't qualify for one of the mystery boxes, that would be potentially a way to earn NFTs down the line. Um, and I would come at it from a long term mindset. If I was coming in with over $5,000, I would get in the second that, oh, sorry, let me finish adding to the first section.
Yeah.
I would get in right away to make sure that I got an alpha key, so that if I was planning on playing the game, I would want to be able to have a voice and share my thoughts and opinions to make sure that I had a voice in helping to shape the game, because obviously that's a huge benefit and bonus. And if you do have gaming experience, especially, and you have played other games that you can compare it to and you have experience, that's invaluable. And if you can get in there early and share your thoughts and opinions, and that your voice is heard, I mean, gosh, that would be invaluable. And if not, if you don't have any interest in doing that, AJ, I believe they can sell that as an NFT potentially.
Yep, totally. So the alpha keys will be NFTs, and we'll also have some for the team that we'll be giving away as we continue to have marketing events and again Zeely campaigns, for instance. But and again, I keep going back to Simon because I know he's with us tonight. But Spinnerlands did a very similar concept inside of what they called the Mavericks channel. And yeah, I
Mm.
mean, obviously, the Mavericks channel became pretty notorious for the salt that was being talked in there. But during the heyday, maybe just to talk about that really quick, Simon, about what a really amazing experience it was to be able to be part of Mavericks and
Wait,
not only get early access to things, but also help build the game. Yeah.
you didn't let me finish what the
Oh,
thought.
all right. Sorry. Well, yeah. Let LA finish then maybe, and then we'll have Simon
I was right in the
reiterate.
middle of it.
I'm
Sure.
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, LA. I'm the
If I was
worst.
the
Yeah.
if I was coming in with over $5,000, I would get in immediately and get my hands on as many mystery boxes as possible. So I would get in as early as possible on the 9th and I would want to increase my chances of getting as many different cards as possible. So I would want to get as many of those mystery boxes as possible. And I see huge value in that. Again, I would come at the token itself with a long-term mindset. A lot of these game tokens reach all-time highs around the 6 to 12 month mark. So I would not have fast fingers when it hit a 5 or 10x, because I would have a longer term mindset with that than that. And I'd take advantage of the staking opportunities as well as the opportunities to potentially sell those cards on the secondary market at a point when it felt like they would have the demand to sell at optimal price range. That would be my personal strategy. None of that is in any advice. And as I learn more and more about the game, maybe I'll adapt my strategy further. But those are my initial thoughts right now.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I think that's super bullish. And again, not financial advice, but I would echo, what LA said. Obviously, I think we all know how the amount of X's that these tokens can do. And I know personally speaking, there's nothing worse than selling early, knowing that you have that conviction, and then watching the token continue to go up when you've been a long time supporter from the beginning. And really, again, all of you know that we prioritize the yield. So apart from the price appreciation of the token, we are absolutely going to roll out some very, very lucrative staking options, and that will be available on day one. So there's plenty of ways to earn that don't require you to ever sell one single Grim Gold, which is also super bullish. So, all right, awesome. Then I guess, Simon, just real quick, I just wanted to touch on the value of the alpha key, and having a early access community that we can mimic that Mavericks mentality of the heyday of Mavericks. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that was definitely, it's like a little insiders club almost, where you can have like direct access to the team. You can have direct access to, like, as you mentioned, early features.
For sure.
And the idea was that, your feedback actually was valued and actually mattered. And it was also just like a very what do you call, like a priority support channel. If something went wrong, you could message the Mavs and someone would help you out immediately rather than going through the usual support channels. So yeah, definitely it's something very, I guess, like lucrative in the sense that it's, we could have some kind of like token gated community, or we can use the alpha keys. Either way, it'll be very, interesting to have.
Yep, 100%. And again, we'll have more details on that as we get closer, but the alpha keys will absolutely be valuable in terms of early access and again, like we've been saying, potentially actually building out the game. So, all right, awesome. So I guess other than all that, I mean, that was really powerful, LA, from an investor's mindset. What else I think we need to go over is what we bring to the table that a lot of other gaming projects and really high caliber gaming projects for that matter don't have. So, do you want to go into that, or was there anything else you wanted to add before we get into what makes us different?
Yeah, let's jump into that. I think that's really important to discuss.
Yeah, no doubt. So again, I mean, I think a lot of you have already heard it over the last hour and a half, or even over the last few weeks, that we've been doing these AMAs and giving you a little bit more background. But we really believe that we have what it takes to run a successful game, and even so, more so than some of these other multi-billion-dollar market cap games. And the reason are some of the following. So, number one, we are launching in a very unique and, in my opinion, smart go-to-market strategy with no VCs, community first, and having a giant marketing push, even pre-TGE, which really will drive demand when the token actually launches. So, LA, do you want to expand on that side a little bit in terms of our TGE strategy as well?
Yeah, so I went into this on Monday, but I'm just so excited about the way that we've decided to go about doing this. And we did discuss this so thoroughly for so many phone calls prior to setting everything up to just make sure we were going about doing this in exactly the right way. And it has just turned out so incredibly well. But obviously, you see right now we're doing things um, with the private sale, and we're only offering the private sale to our community and the communities that have supported us the very most over the last couple years. And when we close up the private sale, the token goes live in October. The TGE is in October, which means we have 2 months to carry out a massive scale marketing campaign. And we're going to have help doing this. We fully recognize that the scale of the marketing for this game has to be much larger than we can accomplish on our own, even though we're really great at doing this on our own. For our DeFi projects, the scale of this game, it just has to be bigger than what we can do on our own, because we are reaching crypto based and non crypto based audiences and communities, and it just requires a lot of manpower. So we're going to be carrying out an absolutely massive marketing, PR, and advertising campaign to, like I said, to both crypto and non-crypto communities. Um, this is where we're going to reach a lot of communities that we've never reached out to before. Um, Twitch streamers and all of the gaming communities, Reddit threads and forums, and all of the Telegram and Discord and Twitter circles and AMAs and all of that, but so much more than that. Ads and articles, and there's just so much that is going to go into it. It's going to start a month to a month and a half to even up to 2 months prior to TGE. The main push of it is going to be the month before, and it's going to continue for another month or two after that. That whole main push is going to be 2 to 3 months long, the major push. And then there's going to be ongoing marketing support from the team that we hire, ongoing. So it's not just one push and then it's done. We're going to get ongoing support, and there's going to be a lot of ongoing marketing happening to ensure that we continue to drive demand. And every time there's new features released, and when we go to launch the game itself, there'll be another big push. It's going to be very large scale and very professional. It's going to be on a whole new level than you guys have ever seen before. And we do have a lot of exciting things coming where you'll get to see that level firsthand.
Yeah, no doubt, LA. And again, I mean, not only everything LA said, but there's also an entirely other marketing arm that will be having through the gaming studio. When the game is actually ready, we will be doing a lot of mainstream marketing that has nothing to do with crypto as well, which again will have a bleed over effect into all the socials, all the community building, everything that we're doing. So it is absolutely a multifaceted approach, and it's spread out over a really powerful timeline where we're going to have marketing 24/7, for a year and beyond when the game is finally here. So that is so powerful in terms of when everybody says when marketing. Again, we also said no VCs. That was also really important. We'll get into that a little bit more at the end in terms of, not giving a major discount uh, to these giant VCs that then end up dumping on our heads. Another really, really powerful part of this is our DeFi background and treasury management. So again, this is a bit of a thing that you would think is more commonplace than it actually is. But a lot of these big gaming companies, all they're worried about is raising as much capital as they can to pay for game development, and really that is where it ends. They spend their entire war chest on game development, and when that is gone, they have to either sell tokens, which again is dumping on our heads. They have to do additional pack releases that dilute the secondary market value because they have to sell way too many packs to be able to pay for the game development. And all these other things that add up to really impacting us as a community and players of the game just for the health of the overall company. And our approach will be much different to where we're actually able to yield from our treasury and treasury management, not only in price appreciation of blue chips, what we feel, will be, like I said, hopefully at least a 2 or 3x from here in the real bull run, but also the amount of yield that the treasury can produce without ever having to spend our core, reserves. And this again is very powerful because that way we're able to pay for rewards and game development, what we feel will be indefinitely, as we grow. And that doesn't even include, the actual fiat sales from the game. So does that make sense, LA?
Yes, I think that is one of the most pivotal things to pay attention to. Because it's one thing to have money and then just spend it to pay for the game, for marketing, this and that, and then it's all gone. It's another thing to manage it properly so that it's invested in our own products and the rewards that we're earning pays for it all. So we never have to actually use that principal amount to pay for anything, and we always have it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and again, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, that point right there is what kept EMP alive for 2.5 years during the brutal bear market from that alone. So we absolutely have the skills and we have the proven skills as well. So if we can make that happen on a shoestring budget, imagine what we can do with actual funds to blow this up, right, LA? We joke about that all the
For
time.
sure.
So,
For sure.
yeah, all right, awesome. All right, so the next point is play to own versus play to win. Again, or paid to earn. So again, we talked about this a lot. Um, focusing on,
Sorry, I
yeah,
totally labeled that
yeah,
wrong.
no, you messed me up, Ellie. So play to
Sorry.
own rather than play to earn. So that is what we're saying is that, and again, we talked about this the whole AMA, but focusing on creating a fun and highly engaging game first that players want to spend money on, as far as cards, different skins, different emotes, pets, you name it. That is a fundamental difference than the alternative of only bleeding value out through play to earn. So, all right, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, you were saying something interesting on an AMA the other day about Axie Infinity and how at first it was really successful, but people were literally like either hiring bots or people were becoming like robots
Yes,
themselves and like
totally.
staying up all day and all night like clicking buttons just because they wanted to earn money and like turning it into their full-time job, and it literally sucked all the fun out of the game and it just like wasn't fun at all anymore, and it almost like didn't even feel like a game. It literally was just money. That's it.
Yeah, totally. I love it, LA. And it's true, the game became a job. I mean, when you're not having fun and you're only doing something to make money and you hate doing it, but you do it anyway, I mean, that is the rat race at its finest. So we'll absolutely be avoiding any of that in this game for sure.
Yeah, so imagine you can still earn through the secondary market and flipping cards and the token value and staking and all these amazing things. And the secondary market stays, which we're going to go into in the next point, but stays really strong in its card values and all of this because of the way that we're managing things. But it's actually really fun to play because of the focus on creating a really fun and engaging game that people actually want to play and continue playing.
Yeah, 100%. Again, not to be confused with there isn't no earning potential. It's just it's done in a much more healthier manner for both the company and the players. I mean, we don't want people to be becoming human robots playing the game either. So this is just a much better model all the way around for sure. So, and like I said, the next point is reinforcing the secondary market value, we will be very strategic on the expansion. So obviously there will be more cards added to the ecosystem. We're hoping for a major expansion every 4 to 6 months, and we're doing it though in a much smarter way. So usually with expansions, um, the only goal is to sell as many cards as possible. And that is great for the company, but it absolutely destroys the secondary market value. With our approach, we will be much more strategic in the amount of NFTs that we actually release and the amount of cards that we sell to where we want a very healthy and high demand secondary market where now the players that bought those cards are the ones that are earning rather than the game. So that again is such a fundamental difference. So does that make sense, LA?
Yes, yes.
Cool.
Do you want to kind of go into that just a tiny bit further for anyone who doesn't isn't that familiar with gaming?
Yeah, so in terms of what normally happens is every few months there is an expansion that adds more cards to the game to play with, more strategic options when playing the game. But what typically happens is there is no cap on that, or if there is a cap, it's very very high. And so now we have hundreds of thousands of cards in the ecosystem. And now people are buying them on the secondary market for pennies on what they were originally worth. And so the whole idea is that we're able to mitigate that through only releasing the amount of cards and maybe even slightly less than the amount of cards that are needed to play at a competitive level. And so that will, obviously make people have to spend to buy from other players rather than the game itself.
And pairing them with older cards in order to accomplish what they needed to, right?
Yeah, totally. So again, when we say meta or strategy of the game, yeah, some of the older cards will still be very, very powerful. And so, that is when those sort of cards will be worth much more on the secondary market because in order to play competitively, you have to have that as part of your hands.
Yeah, so that is what actually makes the secondary market more valuable when releasing a new expansion pack because you have to pair one of the new cards with one of the old cards. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, 100%. No, absolutely, Ella. You're becoming a gamer. And so yeah, I mean, we don't know what cards those will be, when we release them, but the idea is that, there may be a very powerful synergy with some of the older cards that make it even more competitive. And over time, if you want to play at the highest levels, you have to have those cards in order to do so.
Amazing. Love it.
Cool. All right. Awesome. And then the
I
last
just want to
two, yeah,
say, like,
yeah,
I love that every single thing was thought of. Every single little thing. It truly reflects that you guys really said to yourselves, what is the game that I always wanted to build that eradicates any of the flaws that we've experienced in previous games we've played? Like, it's just so evident that those discussions were so thoroughly had when designing this game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and it is. It's at the forefront of our minds, and we're gonna go into it at the very, very end here. But the other variable that is actually bringing this game to life, and I'm just so bullish because I know that we have the right people in place to make that happen. So, all right,
Mm-hmm.
I know. Sorry for the background noise. It's getting late here. We have to wrap it up here, but. So, anyway, that I think we covered a lot. LA, the other 2 points, just really quick, were implementing staking on day one. That is also super powerful because we'll give you something to do with your tokens in order to earn without having to sell them. And then last but not least is not giving a huge discount. A lot of times VCs, they require, a 50% discount on TGE or more. And all that does is create selling pressure on day one. And so, although all the early whitelists are getting a great little discount, it's not over the top that will hurt the ecosystem in the long run. And rather, we can all, promote multiple exits from day one rather than, those VCs already having multiple exits on day one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And also, I want to say how powerful it is that we're doing things the way we're doing it, because you don't have a VC who's come in with $1 million, who's going to dump $1 million at some point, and you just have this dark cloud looming over you, wondering when it's going to happen. We have
Totally.
hundreds of people who are coming in anywhere between $100 and $10,000, and when the token is at a 10x, a $10,000 sale, yeah, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt that much. Let's be honest. Not like a $500,000 sale will.
100%.
And at that time, there's going to be enough demand and enough buying pressure from all the marketing that we're doing that it's going to mitigate that. So I really think it's so smart how we're doing it, because nobody owns a huge majority stake of the token. Nobody does. Not even the team. So
Yeah, no doubt. Well, and that's another really bullish thing. Again, we'll release some more details on the economics, but not even having team allocation is going to be so powerful. So I love it. There's some alpha for everybody at the end here. And yeah, I mean, we thought of everything. I know it sounds a bit egotistical, but with our gaming knowledge and our crypto knowledge, again, between all of us, we're talking decades of experience. Uh, that sets us apart, from day one, for sure. So
yes.
awesome. All right.
All right. So I wanted to go over just a few notes to wrap it up. I'm sure everyone wants to get off soon when we've been on for 2 hours. Thank you guys for hanging in there with us. So just a few quick bullets to end here. If you haven't had a chance to press the like button yet, now's a good time to do it. Thank you guys. We love you. But obviously, guys, whitelist spots are filling up insanely fast. Like, it's been quite overwhelming to be having hundreds and hundreds of DMs, but I love it. I love chatting with you guys. But now's the time to take action if you haven't yet and you're wanting to. Once you have filled out the whitelist form, please send me a message, because I will be reaching out to every single one of you individually next week to confirm your whitelist spot, confirm your details, give you important details. And I would rather you have sent me a message first to start a conversation, so that when I reach out to you, you know I'm not a scammer and we already have a chat history started. I have had a quite overwhelming amount of people reaching out to me to actually up their allocations.
Right.
So if you've already applied and you're wanting to up your allocation, please do not fill out the form a second time. All you have to do in that circumstance is just reach out to me with a message and we will take care of it together. If you do fill out the form a second time, it messes me up and it causes me to do a whole lot more work. So please, as opposed to doing that, just reach out to me with a message and it'll be a lot easier for both of us. We'll just take care of it together. Mark your calendars for August 9th. That is the day of the private sale. So you want to make sure to have it marked in your calendar now so that you don't accidentally forget about it and miss out. Now is the time to start on ramping any funds if you have to do that, because we all know that centralized exchanges love to hold your funds. Or
For
just
sure.
they're really slow, or your bank is really slow, or there's always hiccups, especially if you are on ramping over $10,000, because we all know banks, have those things where they have to report if it's over $10,000. So you might not want to do it all on the same day. So get started now. Don't be that person that waits till the last minute and then they miss out because their money was on hold through Coinbase or crypto.com or whatever. We have heard from some of our VIPs who have been doing it this week that they're using Spritz and it's literally come through in 2 or 3 days. So that's really great. And a bunch of our VIPs were comparing the fees between Spritz, crypto.com, and Coinbase today, and Spritz did seem to be the lowest. So that's exciting. If you do want to use Spritz, the link is in the description of the channel here. And then the last thing is just that next week we have a couple absolutely massive announcements that are going to absolutely blow you away regarding the reveal of the game studio. I do not think that any of you realize quite how big of an operation this is
For sure.
and how large scale or professional of a game this will be. So we're going to leave it at that because AJ and I are both people that love to spill the beans and we don't want to ruin the surprise.
Yeah,
Um,
I know. I'm gonna get in trouble for even alluding to anything, so I won't. But what we saw today literally blew me and LA
oh my
away.
God,
Yeah,
yes.
it's
I wrote
just
like 7 reply messages about it and planned an entire thing around it. So we're very excited. But Monday and Tuesday, on both days, they're going to be huge announcements / surprises. And so you're going to want to be around on both of those days because it's going to be a really exciting time. If you have gotten excited about this private sale, this game launch, any of it already, just wait for your excitement level to go up about 1,000% because when you realize, like, I know you've heard AJ say, like, a lot of crypto projects decide to just launch a game and they do it with their own development team, and we hired a real game studio. But when you actually see what is going on and who these people are, it will blow your mind. That's all I'm going to say.
I love it. My drop moment. Yeah. So to that point, again, we're not gonna hype it up any more than that, but you absolutely want to stay tuned in because next week when we are able to finally release this will be the moment where people go, damn, I probably should have put a little bit more into this. Oh man, not financial advice. Right, LA? Holy cow.
Yeah, make sure you do that before we're full.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so I'm going to put the application form link in the chat. It's also in the description of the video. There is also the link to the Medium article in the description of the video, as well as our link tree, which will link to all of our socials, white paper, website, all of that. So if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. And I do know we have a couple questions in the chats that we have to answer as well.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. So you want to jump right into that, or Was there anything else you wanted me to
Oh,
elaborate on? Yeah.
and Hot Llama said, yeah, and this was a good point because I know Mail said this too. With Spritz, it may take a few days extra if it's the first time you're using it because they'll make you send a microtransaction first. That's around 50 cents just to kind of get you set up, and your bank may want to do that to kind of just verify your Spritz account, and then you'll send your actual transaction. So it may actually take a little bit longer than 3 days when it's your first time using them. So again, that's why you should start now because the private sale is a week away. Thank you, Hot Llama. That was a good point.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, let's start from the top here. See what we got. I think Simon answered that. Okay, I'm gonna let you answer Mail's question because I don't know what he was asking here. I've asked from my Antarctic lair, which countries do you think would be likely to play or get invested into Honor versus Madness? WoW went pretty hard into China with the Pandaria expansion.
Yeah, 100%. So again, just I think I know what the direction of this. So the game itself will be a worldwide release. So I'm 99% sure that Steam through our distribution channels, anybody can download it. And yeah, I mean, obviously the Asian markets are very, very powerful in terms of gamers and especially this sort of genre of game. And again, having the studio out of Thailand, I mean, we have so many connections for a worldwide release that us Americans always think in an American mindset or North American mindset, but the target market is global 100%. So
Awesome. Will we be able to rent cards on Splex?
yeah, so we won't be doing it through Splex. We are looking into having rentals. Again, I don't know if that will be available on day one, but part of our strategy is absolutely including that if we are able to. So, short answer is it won't be through Splex. It will be through our own marketplace, and it will be hopefully something that people can do, a few months after the game officially launches.
Amazing. Okay. I think that's it actually for YouTube. Do you see anything else on YouTube? I think the rest had been for Simon and he already answered them. Let me check Discord now. Didn't see any on Discord earlier. Oh, and just an update for Level X. Jake is working on it this week. I didn't have a chance to connect with him today to see if it had been completed, but I know yesterday he had been working on it. So as soon as I've heard back from him to know whether or not he has completed it, I'll let you guys know. But that is being worked on this week for anyone who had filled out the Level X form, just to give you an update on that.
Perfect.
I think that's it.
All right, amazing. That was great. I thought we had maybe another half an hour of questions. So I really appreciate all of you. I know it's been some longer AMAs, and I know we've been trying to get started on time the best that we can. It's just there's so many moving pieces that we're literally working right up until a lot of these AMAs. But that will definitely wrap it up for today. LA, I could not be more, I think that, and I felt the same way around Fusion, and I still feel this way about Fusion. Even though a lot of these things are our core products, and obviously you and I are team leads, and we know all the things behind the scenes. When we start getting FOMO on our own projects,
Yeah.
I mean that to me is such a sign of what the future holds. I don't want to speak for you, but are you getting
Yeah.
FOMO? Yeah,
Yeah, I called AJ today to ask him how much he thought I should go in with on the
totally.
private sale. Um, yeah, I never saw myself getting this excited about a game before, honestly. Quite honestly, when AJ first told me about it, I was not that enthused, and it took me quite a while to start having this stuff click for me. And that AMA you did the other day really probably doubled my information. I'll be quite honest. Um, it's
Totally.
exciting for me, especially because I get to learn so much. I love learning. And that was a really exciting part of my journey with EMP to begin with. It was my first project. And this whole journey has been so much incredible learning, and I've gotten to learn so much off of you, and the whole community. And I love learning. So it's an exciting part of the game for me because it's an opportunity to learn a lot. And we'll see if you get me into playing.
Yeah, no doubt. That's the
um,
next step. Not only will you be an investor, but we'll make you a player as well, LA. Yeah, so
yeah. But yes, I'm very bullish because I really very much see the potential here, the massive potential. And there's been so many little moments along the way that are so very much increasing my FOMO on it. Like, for example, watching what we watched the other day, and the AMA you had the other day, and just there's been so many little moments that are really like, oh God, that was amazing. I'm so excited. Like, and I think you can all obviously all hear it. But I feel that way about all of our projects, and I love what we're building. So it's great to be a part of. And I tell people in my life outside of this project all the time, I love what I do, and I'm excited that I get to say that because so many people don't get to say that. So
100%. Well, again, I couldn't do without you, LA. I couldn't do without all of you that are here, the entire community, Simon, everybody that is involved both indirectly and, not directly. And we're building just an incredibly powerful, thing for the future. So, yeah, LA, any final words from you? Any other thoughts? Any ideas?
thank you guys so much for being here. We honestly love our time together with all of you. You're very special to us, and it means a lot to us when you show up, and especially when you're still here after 2 hours, 2 hours and a quarter. So we appreciate every single one of you. And we're excited for the future together and everything that it holds, but also for the present moment. So don't forget to enjoy and appreciate this moment right here, right now. And I certainly am with all of you. So have a great day, great night, great evening, afternoon, wherever you are. And we'll see you guys all on Monday.
Amazing. All right. Cheers, everybody. Thank you again. And yes, we have a lot of info coming this coming week as we get ready for the whitelist to wrap up and the actual sale to happen. So mark your calendars for the 9th. We will have a countdown page as well. The again, FOMO will be real with all of this. So just make sure you get ready. Make sure you are in line, and we will all have an amazing time as this is going live. And then we're all ready for the TGE in October. So, all right, that will do it. Good night, good day. We will see you on Monday. Bye bye, everyone.